but there's no motions on the agenda to pass anyway, so it doesn't matter all that much. But you still get to hear an exciting update and eat magnums, so that's cool. So the first thing on the agenda is the welcome and opening. So before we start, I'd like to acknowledge that we're meeting on the country of the Whadjuk Noongar people, and the Guild and University of Western Australia operates on both their land and on the land of the Menang Noongar people at the LT Centre. Their land was stolen, never ceded, and the Whadjuk Noongar people continue to practice their beliefs, traditions and values, and today we pay our respect to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to you all to the OGM. My name is Conrad, I'm the Guild President. Thank you so much for coming. We also have lots of people in attendance, which will be recorded in the minutes. So we'll move on to the next section, which is the confirmation of the previous meeting's minutes. Those were circulated in the event. Does anyone have any questions about those minutes or any problems with them? Okay, we will put those minutes to a vote. Can you please raise your pink slip if you're in favour of accepting those minutes? Anyone against abstaining the minutes? Any abstentions? Beautiful, that carries unanimously. Next is the Guild President's report, which is me. So it's been a really big pleasure for me to serve as Guild President over these past 4 months. There's been a lot of exciting things that have happened, so I'm just going to take you through some of the key bits and pieces. So firstly, orientation. The semester obviously started with a refreshed orientation program, which consisted of some more activities through the week. So there was an all-student expo on the Monday, and what we really focused on this year was having a larger backstop presence to help students connect as they arrive at university. And of course the week culminated in a really big O Day, and then we've been continuing to work with the university throughout the past 6 weeks on the Theme Weeks program to integrate some more activities to the start of the semester. Next, I'm going to talk about the education portfolio under the leadership of the amazing Lincoln Aspinall, my Education Council President. There's 6 big things to update you on here. So firstly, this semester in week 1 we had Ed Week, which was for the first time ever. We put a really big central focus on student representation and education, and I'm pleased to say that week was a big success. We've also continued to expand the class representative system, given students better access to their representatives through the Ed Collective, delivered a whole bunch of new improvements to the assessment policy with the university, introduced mandatory lecture capture and a new lecture capture system, and there's a new version of Student Connect that's coming on the way, due to launch sometime later this semester, which will bring a whole host of new improvements too. So it's very exciting. Another thing that we've been working on is some really big key issues which have seen a lot of focus over the past 6 months in the election. So what my executive decided to do at the start of this year was to set up 3 really focused working groups that aim to make real change in these areas. So we've got one that's focusing on communications and transparency, one that's focusing on election culture, and one that's focusing on food and drink delivery. And I'm pleased to say that they're making some really good progress. So hopefully we'll see some more outcomes out of those very, very soon. But comms and transparency has also already made a huge amount of difference to the way that the Guild is communicating with students. Next is commercial, a lot of exciting things. Utopia is open in the ref. Unfortunately, due to constraints by the City of Perth, our best friends, the opening date of other outlets in the ref has been pushed back, and that's because of regulatory restrictions that the City of Perth have placed onto the Guild, which sucks, but sometimes it just be like that. We're working our best to resolve that as soon as possible. We've also got the Guild an exemption to payroll tax, which will mean that we'll be able to produce a more favourable profit losses figure this year, and that means that we're going to be able to put some more money into student services as well, which is very exciting. We're also in negotiations to bring a mini-mart on campus, so hopefully we'll see some movement on that very soon. We've revamped some food and drink options in the tavern with beer towers and pizzas and lunch deals and all that cool stuff, as well as other things across the other cafes, including better labelling of food and more breakfasts and stuff like that. Lots of exciting things happening in departments. There's a lot of stuff listed there. The key highlights I'd like to bring out is firstly the ethnocultural department or collective. This is the first year they were really run possibly, and their first event was a response to the crisis in New Zealand that happened a few weeks ago. So major props for them to responding to that so well and really bringing the community together around that issue. Oh gosh. Also major shout out to Bree Shanahan for her response to the Bettina Arndt speech event on campus, and having a really, really respectful way for students to come together in solidarity with survivors of sexual assault and oppose her views on campus. Apart from that, I'll take the rest of it as read. A lot of really exciting things going on in all of the departments, so really all my respect and thanks to all of those office bearers. Next we have clubs and campus culture. So much stuff happening there under the leadership of Taco Shiraisi and the Societies Council. Just to pull out a few key pieces, online treasurer training. Damn, who would have thought? Like big club carnival, 3 new clubs, grants turned around in the fastest time ever, so massive props to them, and also things like online equipment hire. Patricia Pago, the chair of Guild Council, has also been bringing together a collaborative reference group to help faculty societies and discipline-specific clubs to work together. And those are all the major things. Some other bits and pieces. Prosh was great. We raised about $42,000. We've got a new website on the way under the leadership of my Vice President, Joseph Jen. We're continuing to work on our statute and regs. And very excitingly, later this year we'll be having a Student Leaders Summit for student leaders in Western Australia, featuring some keynote speakers from the Australian community, from the not-for-profit sector, corporate sector and government. So that's going to be really exciting. It's going to feature workshops run by students as well to help upskill our community of leaders both in the guild and clubs and societies and leaders and all around the campus to help us all be better leaders and do better. So yeah, watch out for that. It's going to be very exciting. That's the end of my report, but I'm happy to take any questions. No questions? Beautiful. Thank you so much. We will move on to the budget report. I would like to invite the inaugural General Secretary, Adish Katsa, to come and deliver the budget report.
Hey guys, I'll keep this short because I'm on time, but my report's already been tabled and passed in council back in December, so it's accessible by every student on at UW already, so I'll keep a short summary and open the floor to questions if that's okay. So for context, last year the Guild was exposed to a budget deficit of $439,952, and this year due to a handful of reasons we moved back into a budget surplus of $72,805. This is a major significant difference, but this is primarily due to significant improvements in commercial, as Conrad hinted at earlier. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of a quick summary. There's obviously a lot more detail in the budget, which I'm not going to go into depth with because that'll take hours, and I know we don't have that. But if you guys do have any questions, I really encourage you guys to ask right now because this is the best platform to get your doubts out of your mind. So any questions? Ask a question. Ask a question. Yeah, pass up.
Societies Council, the budget is...
Sorry?
Yeah, the budget is the budget for the grants in Societies Council, grants and SPGs.
Yeah.
It says, because it says you have less than 10,000 budget. Oh, okay. The recovery 2019 budget is full grant.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, if you want to answer that.
So for the reporting, the question is why is the Societies Council budget budgeted 10 grand where there's so much grants that go into that department? Depending on how the budget's summarised, those can either be consolidated into the Societies Council line or separated. In the budget that you're reading, they're separated out. It's about $120,000 in grants.
Any more questions? If not, I will call that. And who's next? Was there any other questions? No? Cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adish, and thank you for that question, Passer. Next, we're going to note the financial statements of the Guild. They look very boring, but we have assets and liabilities. This is, in all seriousness, we've recently concluded our yearly audit with Deloitte. They've checked off, so there's no problems in our financial statements, and we're compliant with all the laws and regulations, which is always good. And we've returned a negative result last year of a deficit of $47,800, which we're looking to remedy this year. But yeah, great job by Megan and the team to bring that up massively above budget last year. I'm more than happy to take any questions on any of these statements now, but they'll be released on the Guild website with the agenda pack from the last Guild Council meeting after the minutes are passed. So that's very exciting. Does anyone have any questions on those statements or want me to go back or forward so you can look at them more in depth? Beautiful, we'll move on then. Has anyone got any general business? There was nothing on the agenda, so if you want to move it, you need to move a procedural to hear it. But does anyone have any general business? Stunning, thank you. The next meeting will be in semester 2. Thanks so much everyone for coming. This is the end of the general meeting.